Indulge me, I'd like to read 2 pages from advice from the extraterrestrials.
Who is this guy? Does anybody know? Can you please drop the info down below in the comment sections, because I'm dying to find out who this guy is.
Yes, it's true that we have been in contact with your government and heads of power. It is also true that it is also true that agreements have been made and kept secret from your people.
Now, I want to know who this guy is, first of all, and I wonder who he's been talking to and where he's reading from. Is this a story? Is this a book? Or is this an excerpt from another article? I don't know. If anybody can link the original, link it down below. I know this video came out about 3 weeks ago in August, and now it's September 14th, right? And today NASA's coming out with some UFO stuff. So Mexico came out with 1,000-year-old mummified, supposedly aliens. Now, I don't know how true that is. I was kind of looking at the video. They're like 2 feet tall, right? They don't have any like, I don't know. I'm not a pro at like mummified remains, but let's go on with the video.
It is also true that in the past some of your people have lost their lives or have been badly hurt to protect this secret.
Now, we know that there's been conspiracies about Area 51. We've been speculating on things like, okay, the government's been trying to keep it on a hush-hush, and anybody who tried to whistleblow either gets knocked off as a conspiracy theorist or they just disappear. So I don't know how valid this statement was, but it seems like he's getting off to a good start.
Our hands had no part in this. We contacted your leaders because your planet is in grave trouble.
Yeah, it is. Our planet is in huge trouble. Have you seen society here lately? You know, they got people so divided that we can't even come together on simple stuff. So how many of you guys like this, if you agree with this? Before the pandemic, right, there was like groups of people who, one were the left, one were the right. The left used to not be pro-war. Right was war. All they talked about before Trump got elected was foreign affairs and war. Oh, I'm not going to get into that right now. But it's crazy how people are so divided, and it's causing this huge ripple effect and making society more crazy.
Your leaders said the vast majority of your population wasn't ready for anything like us yet.
Whoa. So I've been ready for something like this for a very long time. You know, I remember this one time Stephen Hawking came out with this television show about time travelers, and it was very interesting. And I'm like, if they would just show us, that would be so amazing. Then people would stop acting this way. So I don't know if you're ready for this, but I've definitely been ready for this. Now, I believe there's some people in this world who aren't ready for information like this because they don't understand it. But me, for one, I am totally ready to learn about anything to help the human population grow and to come together.
So we made time agreements with your leaders as to when your people would be made aware of our presence. Your air, your water are contaminated.
Yeah, you know, I remember when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Was talking about how companies in the U.S. were dumping chemicals in their lakes and on land, and it was leaching off into the lakes, and now the majority of our water is contaminated and we can't even eat the fish. You know, you've heard about the Hudson River and how dirty that is. Don't swim in the Scioto River if you're in Columbus, Ohio. It's just crazy how polluted our water is, and our air is polluted as well. From what, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but I can assume maybe all these fires that's going on is one of the causes of it, because there's huge fires everywhere right now.
Your forests, jungles, trees, and plant life are dying. There are several breaks in your food chain. You have an overwhelming amount of nuclear and biological weapons, which include...
Now let's pause on that real quick, because there's one thing I don't think everybody knows. So it's called monocrops. And when you grow one crop on a certain piece of land for so long, you're going to deplete all those nutrients. So, you know, one of the main growing factors for plants is nitrogen. That's in the growth stage. That helps it grow. And if there's an abundance of nitrogen, the plant grows a lot better and a lot bigger, right? And then in the flowering stages, you use a lot more phosphate, right? And that's for like creating the flowers. So let's say corn, it creates the corn stalks and make it bigger, it makes it more plumper and stuff like that. It gives the plants nutrients that it needs. But I've even seen this myself, where farmers will have to go out with big tanks of nitrogen and inject the nitrogen in the ground for them to grow successful crops. So anyways, our food is dying, not only because of the lack of nutrients in the soil, but all the other chemicals that they're putting in, with all the pesticides they're putting in. Glyphosate is now in our bodies. And what is glyphosate? Glyphosate is a chemical used in Roundup, which deters insects. Anyways, I'm not going to get on the whole train about cancer and whatnot, but you ought to look it up if you're really interested in trying to fix things.
Food, nuclear, and biological contamination. Your planet is overpopulated. Warning, it is almost to the point of being too late.
Now, have you heard about Agenda 2030 and the Great Reset? I can't remember who I heard this from, and some of you guys do. If you guys do, drop the name down below. They were talking about overpopulation. How do they plan on getting rid of the excess population, first of all? Now, I know the speculations, and I can't say it because I don't want to get banned, I don't want to get flagged, and I don't want my stuff throttled. So, you guys know what it is. If you want, you can duet this video and then come up with your own conclusions, or you can stitch this video and help out with spreading the information on what you know. By 2030, there's a plan. There's a book out there called The Great Reset. So if these aliens or these beings think that we're overpopulated, how do they plan on underpopulating us? And my next question would be, what is this message trying to convey? Is it supposed to get you in the mindset like, okay, maybe we are overpopulated and we're all going to die? Is this like a purge situation? Are you thinking in your head, I'm going to make sure me and mine live? Like, are they trying to reduce us back down to a barbaric state? I really think that we can think through this together and we can sift through where we can come up with a good solution for any of this. First of all, I don't think we're overpopulated.